Hi everyone, welcome to Taylor Belly. It's day 15. I have to play a little bit of catch up, so I will do 2 videos today. Lots has been happening. So I'll talk about yesterday, which was Wednesday. So Wednesday I still had 2 massages to do at home, and then I still went to go have my Q scan for my composition. I've never done it this way before. It is a bit more expensive, but it got me to actually see, like, obviously stage of life now. I've got to save muscle, save bone density, obviously lose any weight, visceral fat that's going to affect my lifestyle in the future. Like, I don't want to have things like diabetes, high blood pressure, all of that stuff. So at my age now, at 43, this is the best time to do it. And then I know how to train, know how to eat, and get back on the right path. Because over the years, I have built so much muscle, and my job, I do a lot of strength. So I had to get my PT to help me read it and understand it, because this one's a lot more in depth to the ones that we've been doing. So I have got a lot of muscle. If anything, I could probably lose a bit of muscle, but as I'm going to transition in this time of my life, I will start losing it anyway. And then if I start doing more cardio, it will balance out. So that's a really good thing. So training is different in that I don't have to build any muscle. My bone density is really good and nice and strong. So that's another one, because that's when people also start getting osteopenia, osteoporosis, all of this sort of stuff. So that's another box. But I'm not gonna lie, I have to face up to it. Like I said, life has been very stressful. I haven't been focusing on training and exercise. So I have put on over 15 kilos, I would say. But again, same thing, that muscle mass to body fat, I need to know at least lose a minimum of 15 kilos. So I will get onto that. But also we'll just see how my, body goes. I might not need to lose as much depending on how much muscle I have. So there's that, but there is a bit of visceral fat. I think that's also from cortisol, from stress. My diet, I do like to have a bit of a drink too. I guess that's because of with what I'm working with. Sometimes it's just nice to not feel anything. So I don't drink a lot, but I could have like 1 or 2 big glasses of wine. So that's got to stop too. And just, really start focusing on cardio, eating more greens, eating more salad and fruit, eating more regularly. I know that I'm not doing that. A lot of people talk about fasting, and there's a lot of good knowledge out there with it. But when I'm starting to want to train heaps again and I need fuel for my work, I have to eat more regularly. So I know I need to do that. So that was really great for me to learn about myself that way. But then, like I said, I did two massages, still did home duties, but I needed like that downtime with just like watching TV, forgetting life, did a bit of stretching, all of that stuff. I had that cold sore. It's getting heaps better. But again, just smashing all the vitamins and just taking care of myself, because I've got to build for what's going on, tomorrow. So I do feel a lot better. But yesterday, again, I was just in that place where I really need to just withdraw and be by myself to get my energy back. Okay, because I just saw my clients for the first time, so it's going to take time, and it'll actually get easier when I see them more. But for myself, I'm listening now. Like, I love to do my videos and I love to talk to you guys, but if my cup is, so I'm choosing myself. So that's a really good thing. So did everything I can to get on top of stuff yesterday. Had a really good sleep as well. So that was yesterday. Okay. So I'm going to do another video for today. But leading into that, this is huge for me, okay, that I'm going to share. I didn't even know I'm going to share this. So you know how the other day when we were talking about your favorite people in your life, and I was tapping into my grandmother, okay? She's just someone that just rose up from, the hardest of lives and became a massive support system for everyone in her family. Like, she's from 11 in her family. You know, also when she was going through her stuff, I don't want to get into all that too much. Like, she has 2 handicapped children. My mum, she looked after me and Mark too when we were little. She also, in the later stage of life, she also looked after my great-grandmother. Okay, so my great-grandmother, she lived to in her 90s, and she was also another powerful, amazing woman, very stuck in her ways, but she was awesome. But then my grandmother had to deal with my grandfather, who was an alcoholic, who was abusive. So I'm not gonna, I don't want to talk about that sort of stuff. So in other words, my grandmother, and then coming to a foreign country, having to learn from scratch, bringing up 3 children, like, this is huge. And then also having to deal with my grandfather, okay? Now, the thing is, like we were talking about when people pass over, karma, clearing up debt, all of that stuff. So obviously when the thing was, my grandfather, even though he did whatever he did in his life, he still was a good grandfather. That's where we'll be starting to clear that karma. He was still a good grandfather to me and my brother. Okay? He always spoiled us when we were little. He still always helped, when my grandmother had to look after us, after school and things like that. So he was there. Okay, so in my heart, I only ever saw the positive in him. And I also saw someone, even at an early age, struggling with so many demons and stuff. But at the same time, back in those days, over 30 years ago, we didn't know how to deal with trauma, things, all of that stuff, okay? So, it's not easy to want to forgive that stuff or go into that stuff. I don't want to get into that sort of stuff. But my main thing is, with my videos and what I'm teaching is that, like, in life, obviously he made a mess in his life and he affected so many people, okay? But then my family could have gone a certain way, but we chose to go the right way. We chose to grow, to heal, to completely overhaul our family history. So that is huge, okay? I'm breaking that secrecy, breaking that, that we should be ashamed of where we come from. All I know is there's no way in hell that we are repeating those mistakes. Okay, I've definitely shown that with my children. My brother's also shown that as well, my mom. So, that is huge. Okay, so the thing is, leading up to everything, like when we were talking about people clearing up karma, clearing up debt, like, he was a bad man. In this life, he wasn't a good person as well, okay? But when he got older and he did get separated from my grandmother, he lived by himself, but he still chose to live a not a nice lifestyle. He ended up passing away by himself in his home. Me and my family, we were in Queensland, okay? We regularly talked to him, but, there was one night and we didn't hear from him at all for a couple of days. And even myself, at 14 and a half, I think I was then, like, I just heard Mum talking on the phone saying, we haven't heard from him. And I knew in my heart he was gone. Okay, sometimes we all get that feeling, okay? So when things in life, things get prepared for us. So even at a young age, I had that intuition that I knew something was up. Mum knew something was up. My grandmother knew something was up. But it was just a matter of, getting someone to go over and seeing what's happened. Okay, so I went to school the next day thinking nothing of it. I think I was in like year 9. And then all of a sudden at recess, Belinda, Mark, to the office. Immediately, I had tears. I already knew. Okay? So that is the start of my journey tapping into that side of stuff. So we learned that he passed away. And as you know, you normally do, you prepare for the funeral, you go down to the funeral. This was actually going to be one of the first, I think I had my great grandmother before that a little bit, but this was like a close person that I'd lost for the first time. Okay, so the thing was, when he passed away, he'd actually passed away for a couple of days, so we didn't actually know when he died or what time he died. Okay, so that was like a mystery, like that sort of stuff. So anyway, we had the funeral. My dog was even there, Lucinda. My grandfather loved Lucinda as well. We all stayed with my grandmother in her unit. We were all so unsettled that night, but we were also talking about life, the good times after a funeral, all of that stuff. We've been with the family. My dad was there, me, my brother, the dog, my mum, my grandmother. Okay, so after the funeral, we were talking, hanging out with each other. I went and had a shower. Now, this can sound a bit crazy to you, but like, I was 14. I had no idea what was I doing. And but that was that thing of what happened, what time, all of this stuff. And I went into the shower, and all of a sudden I just got emotional and crying. But it was like, I don't speak French, and all I heard was "Des heures et demie dimanche, des heures et demie dimanche," over and over and over. And I had no idea what that was. I got out of the shower and I said to my grandmother and I said to Mum, "What does des heures et demie dimanche mean?" And they said 2:30 Sunday. So we all didn't really think anything of it, okay? But this is the start of my journey. So that night, like, that's what I'm saying, it felt like he was unsettled and he was still with us. You could feel it in the room. It affected me, Mum, my grandmother, and Dad, but we ended up sitting around the table at midnight, just talking again. And then the only two people that were sleeping, even the dog was unsettled, the only person that was sleeping was my brother. Then it came to about that time, 2:30, and it was like we all just got shivers, confirmation, we could go to sleep, the dog settled, and then that is when we knew that he had passed. The only person that was asleep was my brother, because that was his birthday that he had passed, and my brother would have been 12. So that was the start of it with my grandfather. So obviously when people pass, they do want to communicate with us, and it was important for him to let us know, but also let us know that he was okay. All right, so there's that. That's a really hard story for me to tell. And again, I'm 14. I was also taught to be protected by I had a gift, and I had a strong gift, but when you're 14, you don't want to really have that on your back. So I was told, in many ways, don't worry about it, let it go, don't tap into it, just live your life. And I sort of left it. But I always knew from then on something was different about me. So I packed it away. So before I get into the next video, I didn't know I would be sharing this, but I think it's time. So again, like when I said, we're talking about karma and clearing stuff. it was like my grandfather knew that he could access me. And he had things that he had to communicate to fix things. And he obviously wanted to help to heal my whole family, help us. You know, like, because he did a lot of not nice things in this life. Okay, and I don't want to tap into what happens when we cross over, if we get in trouble and all that stuff, but I'm pretty sure, things get sorted over there, whatever it is. Okay, so over the next few months, like, obviously we're grieving, I'm learning about that sort of stuff, I'm a teenager, but all of a sudden, it was like I needed to write. Okay, like in those days, I love Louise Hayes, Wayne Dwyer, all of that stuff. So I was quite already into that stuff. But then all of a sudden, I just had this urge to start writing. So people would call that automatic writing now. I used to think, who's this coming from? But then in a way, I knew straight away who it was. So I just started writing. And before I know it, within a few months, it ended up being like a book or a journal about life. So I put it all together. I actually had the receptionist at school type it up for me back in those days. I had teachers look at it. I had people read it. They were amazed. Back in those days, you do write on like continuously, but then eventually got it all typed out and into a book. So that is, and my thing was, I'd love to get this out into the world, all of that stuff. But back then, so it's not easy to get that stuff, a book or anything. So this journey that I'm doing now, it's not about that. It's the fact that when I realized this book, and I'm going to share it with you because it's like a short little book. Here it is. And I called it Quiddity, Essence of Life. If I still ever see my friend Ben, who did this picture for me, I will find you. Anyway, heaps of people helped me put it together. Okay. In the next video, we'll go day by day. We'll go through the chapters because they're short chapters. There's 14 of them. I would love people to let me know what they think of it. Okay, I actually thought it would be really good for, teenagers or people that wanted to just know about life. It's actually, the things that are in that book are written by a 14-year-old. But it's also things that we're talking about right now. Okay, our hidden truths about life, how to play life, all of that sort of stuff. But we'll get into that later, tap into it. So, and the reason why I thought about bringing this up is when I think of when he's passed and where I am now, because I literally hid that book. It was only a couple months ago I showed one of my clients, and then I think now it's time, but then I actually realised that book is 30 years old. My grandfather has been gone for 30 years. I know he has helped me from that side, helped me be the person that I am now. I'm getting emotional because I know that's the truth. Because he's always protected and guided and helped me. It sounds a little bit crazy, but I've got to speak my truth. There's 30 years of knowledge in that book. And it's not about making a book, it's not about getting it out there, but it means if there's a message in there with YouTube and everything, I'm able to do that. Okay, if there's something he wants the world to know or something to share with love and light, I'm just going to share it. So I don't know what this all means. I don't know what we're going to find in there, but it is a book that has been inspired and helped, and it's 30 years old. So it's pretty cool that I can, with you, with my diary, go into my diary of my past. Okay. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you're thinking. I'll post in a minute today's video. You're a bit nervous about it, but the whole thing about these videos that I've been posting is, karma, getting things right, living with purpose, being healthy, taking care of yourself. It's just all in the big package. It's all connected. And the thing is, I'm not special. What I'm sharing with you, everyone goes through this stuff. But if I'm sharing this, that means it's okay for you to actually go, oh, I've been through that too. It's not crazy. It's normal. Okay? Take care. Catch up real soon. And I hope you learn something from me today, or learn something about me. But like I said, I've since 14, little bit, but I'm not afraid to share who I am anymore. It's my gift, it's my purpose, and that's what's getting me to help so many people. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.